Course on nearly 50 years of settled law in the U.S., effectively overturning Roe versus Wade.
It looks nice from 7th and Range Line, but we are back in the heat for today. We'll see how long it'll stick around coming up.
And why so many homeowners are making the switch to artificial turf.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
The U.S. Supreme Court reverses course on nearly 50 years of jurisprudence. This is KOAM News at Noon. I'm Tanya Bach. Topping our first 7 minutes, the High Court's conservative majority has overturned Roe v. Wade, returning the issue of abortion rights to the states where a patchwork of policies is already rolling out. Skylar Henry joins us from outside the court with the latest.
Demonstrators against abortion rights erupted in cheers after the Supreme Court overturned Roe versus Wade. The mood outside the court highly charged with the release of the much-anticipated ruling.
We don't want to hear cheers about women being slammed back to the dark ages and all of society slammed backwards.
The conservative majority court sided with the state of Mississippi and its supporters in Dobbs v. Jackson Women's Health Organization. With their case, Mississippi officials asked the High Court to eliminate the constitutional right to abortion first established in 1973.
This is a wonderful opportunity to return this to the people.
According to the Guttmacher Institute, which supports abortion rights, an estimated 26 states were either certain or likely to ban abortion if the High Court overturned or dismantled Roe. The decision here today is the outcome of decades-long lobbying by groups against abortion rights. The appointment of 3 conservative justices during the Trump administration made it a sudden reality.
We've been knowing this was going to go down since Kavanaugh.
The watershed ruling follows an unprecedented leak of a draft majority opinion that sparked protests, including some outside justices' homes. The leak has impacted the High Court from the inside out. Chief Justice John Roberts has ordered a full investigation. Today, Roberts did not join the 5 conservative justices or 3 liberals. He said, in his own opinion, he would have stopped short of ending the right to abortion. Skylar Henry, CBS News, Washington.
Now, the decision to allow abortion access is now kicked back to the states. Trigger laws banning abortions are now in effect in Missouri, and they're ready pending a signature in both Arkansas and Oklahoma. In Kansas, voters will decide August 2nd whether the state constitution protects the right to abortion. You can find reaction and responses from several state leaders on our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. Well, it is hot. There's no question about it. We knew it was coming, but guess what? There's light at the end of the tunnel. Meteorologist Nick Kelly joins us with a first look at your forecast.
Right now, the light outside, Tanya, that's not the end of the tunnel. It was what really brought the heat back into play this afternoon. We look good from 7th and Range Line, but if you are not a fan of the heat, it does not feel good. So for many of you that don't like the heat, it would have been nice if we had some of that rain and thunderstorms working across northern Kansas and northern Missouri to skirt on by. But we were struggling to get a couple of showers to try to work across our far western and northern counties this morning. That being said, we do have a frontal system still working through the region, so there's still a slim chance we could see a random shower or a random storm at some point during the afternoon. But already, starting at 1 o'clock and taking us until 8 p.m., there are heat advisories out for northeast Oklahoma. They're going to go well into the 90s this afternoon, and with the higher humidity, it's going to be feeling like we're well into the triple digits. Right now, though, we are already in the lower 90s. Most of us between 90 and 92 degrees. Already feels like 100, if not a little bit above that across much of the region. Again, that front passing through, it's going to try to squeak out a random shower, random storm, but its main job is to keep us hot, and it certainly will do that without any problem. Highs near 96 this afternoon. Then going into tonight, that front doesn't allow us to cool down very much. We'll only drop back into the mid to upper 70s. Another hot and humid Saturday lined up, Tanya, but a stronger front, which I'll point out later, that will be our relief from the heat. We'll see how much of a break we'll get from the heat coming up in a bit.
All right. I'm looking forward to that relief. All right.
I am too.
Thanks, Nick. Well, a breakthrough 30 years in the making as the Senate passed bipartisan gun control legislation late Thursday night. Now, this comes 1 month after the horrific mass shooting in Uvalde, Texas, that killed 19 young children and 2 teachers. Now the bill goes to the House, where it's expected to get final approval today. Deborah Alfarone is on Capitol Hill with more on this historic bill.
The House is preparing to vote on new gun control legislation, putting it one step closer to become law.
The motion to concur with an amendment is agreed to.
The Senate passed the measure 65-33, and despite pressure from the NRA, 15 Republicans broke ranks to join Democrats, including Minority Leader Mitch McConnell.
What I'm mainly concerned about is dealing with the issues that have been brought to the fore by these mass shootings, which are directly related to school safety and mental health.
The bipartisan legislation will enhance gun background checks for people under 21. It sets aside $750 million to give to states that implement red flag laws designed to temporarily seize guns from people deemed dangerous. And it closes the so-called boyfriend loophole, preventing someone who's been convicted of domestic abuse but lives outside a victim's home from buying a gun. Democrats had to drop some of their demands to get this bill passed, including a provision that prohibited the sale of semi-automatic rifles to people younger than 21.
This bill is a compromise. It doesn't do everything I want. But what we are doing will save thousands of lives.
Some Republicans who voted against it say the bill stomps on the Second Amendment and won't help save lives.
Doesn't stop violent crime, but that does infringe on the Second Amendment.
Many Republicans who voted in favor will not be facing voters in 2024. Deborah Alfarone, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
Breakthrough came on the same day the Supreme Court struck down a New York law that limited carrying guns outside the home, reflecting the divergence between the nation's highest court and Congress's latest move toward gun control. That's a look at today's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Up next on KOAM News at noon.
No more mowing. I'm Dina Demetrius, and I'll tell you why more people are giving up grass for an artificial yard.
And later, we're making another four-state favorite in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, German potato salad. The warmer weather means homeowners everywhere are mowing the yard on a regular basis, but some people are trading the typical lawn for a grass that never needs to be cut. Dina Demetrius reports.
Workers rolled out the green carpet in this Los Angeles area neighborhood. The homeowner decided to rip out the old grass and replace it with artificial turf.
We like real grass, but you realize how much water it takes to keep your grass green, and all of that water and the runoff and everything else is just not necessary.
Many western states are in the midst of a mega drought, and some cities now have major water restrictions, which will likely cause many yards to turn brown. People in Denver, Colorado are also trading real grass for the synthetic kind. This job cost around $5,000. The company Perfect Turf says there is a backlog of orders from new clients.
It really comes down to time, water, and money. They want to save their weekends, not mowing. They want to cut back on water.
Because of that, artificial grass is growing in popularity and has come a long way since AstroTurf was introduced in the 1960s. There are many types of turf available. This yard by Build Cal Turf in LA is made up of a mix of coconut fibers that make it feel almost like grass.
So it mimics real grass and it also doesn't get hot. This has been in the sun on the top of the car, you can feel the turf. It's not hot.
I feel like it transformed our backyard into something much more enjoyable.
Kim Wynn and her husband say it took one day to install the turf in their backyard. They wanted the look and feel of grass without the maintenance.
We spend all this money and time watering grass that we cut, and then we water again and we cut it.
The new yard doesn't require any mowing or watering and stays green all year long. Dina Demetrius, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Still to come on the KOAM News at noon, Mr. Food.
No need to get out the mayo, because the potato salad we're making today is practically naked. Yeah, I said naked, yet it's loaded with flavor.
But first, meteorologist Nick Kelly returns with your complete forecast.
We are starting our look at weather on this Friday afternoon with a look at the big picture and about a good deal upstairs in the atmosphere. This is our jet stream setup. I think we're all tired of pointing out the big blue H, that upper level ridge. That is the main culprit for how we've been staying so hot and humid for much of this week. And if we look a little closer, you can see how it, along with the passing warm front, was mainly steering any good rain or thunderstorm chances this morning, mainly across northern Kansas and in the northwestern parts of Missouri from Kansas City up to St. Joseph. That same complex of rain finally working along northern Missouri from Columbia up to Kirksville and getting ready to work over the, let's say the Mississippi River near Quincy and Hannibal. However, this is our next cold front. This is going to be the one that'll give us a better shot of rain and storms come late tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening, and Sunday morning, and give us a chance to really cut back on the heat and the humidity. But again, this morning I was keeping an eye on not only just that complex of rain and storms, but to see if any straggling showers that try to hop over the turnpike, the Kansas Turnpike, could try to clip our very far western and northern counties. But as they continue to try to track east, they did not do a good job holding together. So most of us are dry right now. And this is our main weather headline too. It's the heat and the humidity, both high enough that in northeast Oklahoma, you have heat advisories taking you from 1 o'clock this afternoon until about 8 o'clock this evening. But even if you aren't under those heat advisories, we're all set for a hot and humid afternoon. So it may look nice, no doubt about it, from 7th and Rangeline, but it is hot and humid. With a temperature of 92, with a south wind of 10, keep pumping that dew point up to 74. That is muggy air, no matter how you slice it and dice it, and making it feel like 102 in Joplin. Everybody is sitting mainly in the lower 90s right now, maybe a low 95 around Chanute. Then that verifies the humidity is making you already feel like it's 104 out there, but everybody feels like we're at least near 100 degrees. And I don't think we're done heating up just yet. Even if you could squeak out a stray thunderstorm with that passing front, that's not going to stop us from hitting 96 this afternoon with heat indices well in the triple digits. And then with that passing front, it's not going to let us cool down a lot for the overnight. In fact, it'll still be very mild, if not warm, with lows dropping back to 76 in the morning. And that's just for Joplin. That same forecast applies to the entire area, quite frankly. So again, even if the passing front could try to spark a random shower or storm, everybody goes into the mid-90s this afternoon. Heat indices well in the triple digits, only dropping back into the middle to upper 70s rather for tomorrow morning. And before the incoming cold front from the northwest can do anything, we're all going to soar into the upper 90s. Heat indices as high as 110, so it's going to be very hot, very humid tomorrow afternoon. But then here comes the cold front. Not only could that give us a decent shot for more widespread, at least very scattered, rain and thunderstorms, look how it's going to have an impact on temperatures with highs back in the lower 80s. And not only that, that front forces that upper level ridge to get drawn back to the west. That will bode very well for us, thankfully, as we go into early next week. 96 for Friday, 98 Saturday. Then behind that front, Tanya, we'll have highs around 83 on Sunday, lower 60s for Monday morning and Tuesday morning. That will be downright chilly compared to where we've been lately, but lower to middle 80s for Monday and Tuesday afternoon. Sadly, though, we'll have to bring the heat back in starting on Wednesday and Thursday.
I don't want to think about that. Let's keep on pushing it back. Push it back.
Yeah, we'll worry about the
You can let one. You've already told us Thursday in the 90s, then back down again.
Yes. We'll worry about like the extra heat later. I'm focused on those 80s and lows in the 60s. That's what I'm looking forward to.
In the meantime, today, tomorrow, it's going to be really hot, so stay hydrated. Keep yourself protected from the sun. Use sunscreen, long sleeve shirts. Just do what you need to do.
Yeah,
Check on your neighbors.
Yeah, take frequent breaks. How about breaks indoors and air conditioning, whatever you can to keep cool.
There you go. All right, thanks, Nick. We take this time to honor today's 4 state heroes. The Gilmore brothers from Milo, Missouri. Chief Petty Officers Delmer, George, Harold, and Roy Gilmore, all 4 served aboard the USS Princeton from 1950 to 1955. They served alongside 31 other sets of brothers on the same ship. The 4 sailed in the South Pacific during World War II and later at Korea. To Delmer, George, Harold, and Roy Gilmore, we thank you, our 4 state heroes. Not a fan of those creamy potato salads you often find at the deli? Why not try your hand at a German potato salad? Howard shows us how to create the traditional sweet vinegary base in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
With all the grilling, barbecuing, and church suppers still to come, If you don't want your side dishes to fall into the, oh, not that again category, then we have just what you're looking for. It's an old-fashioned German potato salad that's always welcome. We start by boiling about 4 pounds of thinly sliced potatoes. Once they're tender, we drain them. And while they cool, we finish cooking some bacon until it's crispy. Then we take it out of the pan and add a bit of vegetable oil and a chopped onion to the drippings. When the onion is tender, we stir in some vinegar, water, sugar, and a bit of salt. Now the potatoes go in along with half of the crumbled bacon and some chopped parsley. And after it warms through, we top it with the rest of the bacon and it's ready to serve. And do we ever have options? We can serve it hot right from the skillet, at room temperature, or even chilled. And with the smokiness of the bacon, the zing of the vinegar, and the tang from the onion, what's not to love? And like always, to get the recipe for our German potato salad, all you have to do is go online now. This way you'll be ready when you want something different that's really tasty. I'm Howard with Kelly in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found an old world way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
Well, you can find this recipe along with a lot more good food from the Mr. Food Test Kitchen online. Just go to our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. Here's a look at our 4-state market prices.
Even if we can luck out and get a random shower or storm this afternoon, that will not stop highs from hitting 96 today. 98 for a very hot and quite humid Saturday. Then a stronger front with better thunderstorm chances Saturday night into Sunday morning. That's going to give us a little bit of a break from the heat. We'll be back in the lower 80s Sunday and Monday. Mid 80s on Tuesday, then unfortunately we'll have to head back near 90 as we go into Wednesday, Tanya. In the meantime, what can we expect coming up tonight at 5?
Well, tonight at 5, a new study shows the effectiveness of COVID vaccines. In Health Watch, how many lives scientists say they've saved. Plus, a house fire is under investigation after a 2-alarm fire in the Northern Heights neighborhood early this morning. And we'll get reaction from 4-staters after the Supreme Court makes the monumental decision to overturn Roe v. Wade. Join us for those stories and much more tonight on the KOAM News at 5.
And thanks for joining us, everybody, for the KOAM News at noon. We'll see everybody right back here at 5 o'clock.